got it recording. We got a
Can you hear
session
me?
going.
How do I sound? That sound good?
Yeah, you sound pretty good to me right now.
All right, sounds good.
Do another
All right.
do another sound check quick.
Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, man. Sounds good. Sounds good. So yo, how you doing today, man?
I'm all right. I'm a little tired, but I'm cool. I'm here. I'm all right.
Yo, hey, I wanted to congratulate you, bro. You're the first official sneakerhead interview I got on YouTube. So, congratulations, bro.
And I appreciate it.
And I was talking to a couple people and like they were saying, "Yo, I need to bring some content from some people who've been doing like the whole sneaker thing for a while." And I wanted to kind of get some background from you, like what got you into sneakers in the first place? Like how did you get started with the whole thing basically?
Man, sneakers been a part of my life for a while now. I think what got me started was, just watching my OGs do it.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up and just watching all the other older people doing it growing up, and also my cousin as well,
Okay.
because growing up he had a huge collection himself, major
Mm-hmm.
collection, and at the time I wasn't able to afford it. My parents were not buying me sneakers. They were not going to just buy me a bunch of kicks like that, so I just had to take what I can get at that time.
Right.
I didn't start I was able to get my first like Nike like Air Force One when I was I would say my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So that was back in '05.
Right.
And I didn't start my collection. Um, I would say, it's interesting because when I graduated high school, that's when I was able to grab sneakers, and I didn't grab Jordans at that time. So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, my freshman year of college, which was back in 2009, I was doing a bunch of Nikes and a bunch of Vans.
Right.
I had a lot of Vans then. I didn't buy my first Jordan until 2012, maybe. Well, technically 2009, but those Jordans were fake when I found out.
Man,
I
so
bought my first.
what pair is that?
So that first pair that was fake, it was the Air Jordan 1 six rings.
Six rings.
Uh, there were six rings, the bread colorway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize I got them off a sketchy website,
Right.
and then they came in. I looked at them. I wasn't 100% sure, but I rocked them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Just was confident in them,
Right.
and yeah, but I didn't. And I found out later on that they were, like, after doing some research about it. But
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have the money to. It's not like I was going to sell them to anybody or anything. I was already wearing them. I just continued to wear them until I could anymore.
But were they decent copies? Like, no
They were
one knew
decent.
or
They were decent copies. I feel like maybe a couple people knew, but they didn't mention anything to me about it.
right.
But again, I had the personality. My personality is very confident, so no one questioned me. No one
Yeah.
ever came to me about it. So I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, it is what it is at that point. And I didn't buy my official Jordan until I would say possibly either 2011 2012, around that time. That's when I
Right.
started Jordans. That's when the collection started to take place, when I started working at the sneaker store in Boston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess talk I mentioned it in some of these questions I wrote down earlier, but I wanted you to
Mm.
tell me a little bit about Jordan Brand, like what Jordan Brand meant to you. I know when we talk sneakers, you're really a big fan of these Jordan sneakers.
Yeah.
Um Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, Jordan's the GOAT. He is, like, there's just no denying it. I was gracious enough to see Jordan play
Mm-hmm.
Towards the latter half of his Chicago Bull career.
Mm-hmm.
And like just watching him, watching the commercials. Like yeah, I wanted to be like Mike. Like that was the song.
Right. Yeah.
Like even though the artist is controversial right now, but when the song "I Believe I Can Fly" came out at the end of, I want to say, I think that song came out. Well, the song was already out, but they played that song at the end of
Right.
when Jordan won. I want to say either I think he won his sixth championship, if I'm not mistaken, either his fifth or his sixth championship,
Mm-hmm.
where they played that song. Like I believe I could fly. Like I really wanted to like fly like Jordan. Like real talk, they
Yeah.
kept showing all these Jordan highlights throughout those NBA finals.
Right.
And I definitely wanted to be that, like from the Gatorade commercials,
Yeah.
from the Jordan
With
commercials,
the like the blue sweat and the like the orange sweat. Man,
exactly the black
yo,
and white with the
yo.
orange.
And then you
Exactly.
got the Space Jam monsters. Man,
Exactly. So when Space
I'm
Jam
right
came
there.
out, that was a huge thing. There was a
Yup.
huge thing growing
Yes,
up
sir.
too, and like the fact that I knew that at that time, if I was to ask my parents for a pair of Jordans, that was not happening.
Right.
And it was funny too because at that time, I knew that the most expensive pair of Jordans. Once my parents started buying like real sneakers for me,
Right.
I knew that the most that they will ever get me was an Air Force One price range. So
Right.
that's when I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna just stick to Air Force One. So I got Air Force Ones earlier, like
Mhm.
probably my freshman year of high school. That's when I started really getting different colorways of Air Force Ones. Started off with the all whites, then I got a pair to match my school colors, which was a white, army green, and tan colorway. With those, then I got the all blacks, and different colorways. And then at the sneaker store, they were doing deals where if you
Mhm.
buy one sneaker, you can get another sneaker at a half off. So that was when dunks were not popular at that time. So I was able to get a bunch of dunks
Right.
for about like $30 to $40, just
Yeah.
because my parents would buy me an Air Force One, and then I could get the half off price. And if my brother wasn't with me, because I grew up with a younger brother, if he
Right.
wasn't with me, I was able to get two pairs.
Right. But
So
if
I
he's
was able
with
to get.
you,
If he's with me, then the other pair would go off
other
to him.
pair. Right. Right.
So yeah, but I did have a lot of dunks growing up,
Mhm.
as well, as opposed to Air Force Ones, because I knew that Jordan price range, I could not get it at that time. But it wasn't until when I really started working,
Mhm.
and even when I started working, I didn't necessarily just buy Jordans
Yeah.
off the bat.
Right.
But once I started working at the sneaker store, that's when I started purchasing
Mhm.
Jordans more often, and that's when the collection started to grow
Right.
from there. You know a
Yo,
little bit more about the history.
so i- as far as like your favorite pairs of Jordans to buy, do you stick to like, do you stick to like eights, nines? What is your favorite, your favorite Air Jordan of all time?
Well, let's see. My favorite is funny because my favorite silhouette will probably
Right.
be the ones, just because how easy and versatile you can wear with it.
Okay.
Um, and and probably my second favorite silhouette is probably the threes. I do have a
Yeah.
lot more. I do have a lot because I have more ones,
Mhm.
but my threes are almost right there with how many ones I have. So as of
Yeah.
right now, so I got a lot of threes, got a lot of ones. But it's
And
funny because my favorite sneaker of all time is neither one of those silhouettes.
you were saying like is it the Aqua eights or?
Yeah, so the Aqua Eights are my favorite sneaker of all time, without question, without
Okay.
a doubt. Like,
So what's the whole like background with that sneaker? Why is that sneaker, something that's really special to you personally?
so it was at a time where I couldn't afford Jordans. This was back in the I want to say the '07. This was '07. when the Aqua 8s came out. And my boy from back home in Boston, he got his pair, and it was the three of us at that time. It was me, my boy Duke that got the pair, and my boy Henry. We were all trying to, just try to be fly and whatnot. So what happened with that particular sneaker is that we would borrow that sneaker. So we would share that sneaker in rotation.
Okay.
So that was one of the sneakers that was in rotation. It was that sneaker, Air Force One. I had the Air Force One low, so it was all white.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure if Henry contributed in that, but either way, it was still always a part of the rotation. We shared clothes, we shared sneakers,
Right.
and that particular sneaker was just like very nostalgic for me. And I just knew for a fact that I had to have that sneaker at some way, shape, or form in my collection in great condition. I just needed that pair because
Right.
just of the memories of how I back when I couldn't afford it, but I was sharing that sneaker with my brothers, just like so that way we could
There's
all be
like
fly.
the memory, right? You got the
Of
nostalgic.
course,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
I feel that too. Especially with like Vans. I used to do a lot of skateboarding around here, and I used to have a friend named Kyle, and like that was his favorite pair of sneakers. And like he passed away a few years ago, but for some reason, when I still put on those pairs of Vans, it could be like a $35 pair of Vans, but I still get that nostalgia where it's like, I feel like right back there where I was when I was a kid, skating around and stuff like that. But it's interesting that you say that you had that in a rotation. And I like that. I like that, you were basically working with your friends and all of you guys got to have this like, fresh experience. So were you in class at that time or?
So it was funny at that time. It's funny. So what he had done was we borrowed them because I was heavily involved in church, and we would go to like this church convention. So we would have it in rotation to be fly during the convention. It was like a weekend. It was called this thing called Winterfest.
Okay.
Also around that time, I got shipped off to boarding school. So he actually let me take the shoes with me while I was up in boarding school, and then I'll just bring them back whenever I like go home for a weekend or something like that. So there was times he let me borrow. I know he let me borrow the Aqua 8s. I know he let me borrow the Playoff 8s, Aqua 8s, Playoff 8s, that Air Max 95s.
Yeah.
Or the orange ones. Yeah, it was definitely dope just having those in rotation.
What's crazy is that Barry and I were talking to Loan My Soul like a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me about how he turned what you're just saying into like a whole website now. But you've been doing it for like, you're like the OG of that concept. So that's actually that's cool that you guys actually, work together so that you all could like have the cool sneakers that you wanted though too.
Right, definitely.
So I also wanted to get kind of like what your vision was as far as like, sneaker. I know sneakers for you is like, it's not just footwear. It's also like an identity in a sense. Do you want to maybe like talk about the Soul Truth and I guess like where it came from and where it's going in a sense?
Yeah, for sure. So I know it all goes back to like just my personal background on sneakers. I feel like back then sneakers meant a lot more than just a dollar amount or a quick buck. And I feel like that, I mean, not to hate on the business side of sneakers, but I feel like the culture and like what the shoes are really about is just a bit watered down in a sense. So, and I do feel like so with the whole name, the Soul Truth came about because every shoe has a soul, and just like people, and there's always truth that comes out of a soul.
Man.
So So I really wanted to just, just break it down in that way. Just talk a little bit about my experiences, talk about like
Right.
what I really feel about these sneakers. Go to these local spots, talk
Hmm.
to different people, get their idea, get their journey.
Hmm.
So that's basically where it came about. And honestly, like no lie, it really stems from my OG, because I mean he's a diehard sneakerhead, one of the originals that I grew up with. And
Hmm.
he is all about the culture. That's the type of guy he is.
Now, does he have a YouTube? I think I,
So,
I followed one guy that I subscribed to one of the dudes that you had me subscribe to. Is that who you're mentioning?
so no, but he doesn't have a YouTube page. It's interesting. And it's crazy. You would think he would, but he doesn't have a YouTube page.
Right.
He's just more he's more of a behind the scenes kind of guy.
Right.
But he just has all these sneakers, and like a lot of my involvement with sneakers, and sometimes some of the pictures I take with sneakers, they are influenced by something that he's done in the past.
Right.
And anything I do involving sneakers, I always call him, check in with him to see, is this a good idea? This not a good idea? And
Hmm.
the way he supports me, he just always gives me the green light. He was like, "Yo, just go for it. This, that, and the third." I am planning on doing a really special episode
Hmm.
in the future. It's in the works. I'm still trying to get a few more things in
Right. Right.
place so that way it can happen. But it's going to be a really special episode coming real soon,
Cool.
and just really getting into him. And I wish I could include my older cousin in it, because
Right.
he's kind of a retired sneakerhead. He's not really as active
Right.
as my OG, but he is another influence as to how I'm in this sneaker game.
Yo, so I actually appreciate you telling me this because I've been doing a little bit of reading lately, and I've been looking at, and like what you're telling me is there's actually like generations of this sneaker heading culture where people they've been they've been doing this for a minute. I know there's some like NBA players and people who are retired, they've got like 1,000 plus 2,000 plus pairs of sneakers, and their mindset is they've been in it for like 40 years, almost 50 years, and it seems like they just kind of keep passing down the torch to the younger generation. So it seems it's cool that you have that story about like how you got started. And for me personally, I don't have that many OGs that I'm looking up to. For me, I got started
Mm.
on this mostly by watching what people were doing on the internet. So
Right.
so it's interesting that you actually have this relationship connection to sneakers, from having a whole background with sneakers. So
Yeah, for sure. And I've been thinking about doing this for a while, because I mean I do watch other YouTubers.
mhm.
Like I know I watch DJ the Sneakerhead. He's one. I watch him often. I watch Mr. Former Simpson. That's
Former
another
Sims,
one.
yeah. Hmm.
There's another one I used to watch a lot. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I don't watch him as much anymore, but my two main people I do watch is DJ Sneakerhead and Mr. Former Simpson.
you
Um,
you like Jacques Slade at all, or
I haven't seen Jack Slade. I never. This is my first. I'm really like hearing about him through you right now, but I
right?
haven't. I haven't watched any of his videos.
I'll link you. He's pretty cool. I think he's out in LA, but
Okay.
he's someone who got me inspired to uh do it too. So
Mm.
all right, so I also wanted to talk a little bit about like some of the grails, some of your favorite grails, I guess, in your collection. I don't know if you want to, bring out, a few
Yeah, I could definitely
sneakers,
throw a
but
pair. Yeah, for sure. Um, let's see. I mean, I know this one. This one's one of a lot of people's girls right here.
we got the Sean. Is that the Sean Waller or Sean?
Yeah, with the Sean Weatherspoons,
Mm-hmm.
97s. This is definitely a great cop. Got these off a raffle. Got these for retail. I got
Man,
lucky. Got lucky with these. This is definitely one that a lot of people love.
And what's the fabric like on the color blocking of that?
So this is all corduroy.
Corduroy.
Yeah,
Hey.
and it feels really soft, feels really nice.
Okay.
Um, so this is slightly faded because I actually wear my shoes, but
Right.
I really like these. It's hard not to wear these because now that I'm a little bit older, so I like to wear shoes that I can, wear a lot more with, or like it's more versatile
Mm-hmm.
to wear things with.
Yeah.
So that's one. I guess that's one Grail. Another one. I'll bring these out. Well, the shoe that started it all, my favorite pair. So, like I said, I have to have a fresh pair around.
Right.
So these are Aqua 8s, the 2007 edition.
Mm-hmm. And did you have a pair that was cracking in the past? Is that you who showed me yours that was like so heavily worn that you had like that it started cracking? I think I saw
So
someone.
these are slightly cracked. These are not as bad.
Right.
So these are slightly cracked, but
Yeah.
it's not with the paint. But these are not as bad. I have worn them, but they could still pass off like really well.
Right.
I try to keep these in the best condition as possible because, again, with the nostalgia and the memories. So I do have a 2015 pair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a huge fan of. I love the '07 pair more because if you see the difference between the 2015 pair and the '07 pair, um, like the gray as opposed to like the black in the
Right.
back,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then also down here is the sparkles.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of the sparkles with the glitter. Not a huge fan of that,
Right.
but that's how it comes. But I mean,
So
sir.
if you still wear the 2007 pair, is it like is the cracking get really bad every time you wear it, or is it
No,
something?
I mean maybe I don't know. Not I don't think so. Not as often.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, I mean these shoes are 13, 13 years old, almost 14. I mean maybe in due time.
Right.
But if it really gets bad, I mean, there are sneaker restores that repaints, so you could always get them repainted. I'm not really huge. I'm not too pressed to get them repainted at this time. It's
Right.
not a huge deal to me. Another Grail, um, Off White
Hey.
5, that some people deemed as the shoe of the year of 2020. Some people thought
Right.
that. I
Yo, these are cool, man. I like the windows on there.
I really like this shoe just because of how durable this shoe is. This shoe is really, really durable.
Right.
It's hard because they're comfortable as well. I could probably wear these for 30 days straight and it'll probably still look in amazing condition.
And they also
Uh,
they got them like that. I don't know how, Virgil kind of puts them together in that way where it looks like the shoes kind of like taken apart in this
mm,
weird way.
yeah.
I know I saw on the Vapor Street, like the canvas looked like it was inside out in a sense,
Yep.
but it's cool. It looks sturdy. It's definitely like, I think
Nah, it definitely is.
they pushed the limit with that vision. Definitely cool.
Yep.
Uh,
Another one. Last one I'll show.
we got the breads here.
Yeah, breads, bands, however you want to call them.
Yup.
This was definitely this is definitely a shoe that I just knew I had to have
Awesome.
in my
Yo, and
collection.
so tell me how you secured that pair, because that's a pair
This
that
one,
I've always wanted. This it's always been out of reach, from a financial perspective.
yeah.
It's I can try to find it used. I'm actually right now, on an eBay watch list for a used pair right now. So tell
Mhm.
me how you cop this.
So I copped this. When did I cop these? These came out in 2016, 2017. I know that I bought them off my boy. I bought them off my boy Randall. Either 2017 or 2018. I
Okay.
don't remember, but the price was it was a little high, but it wasn't too high. I bought them in the 300 range.
Right.
At that time I was just like,
And
it's a
that's
little
like
bit much.
unheard. Yeah, that's unheard of
But
now.
But exactly, but at that time, that was a price point around that time. And because he was my boy, I was like, all right, fine. You know what? You're my boy. You probably need the money. All right, cool. Fine. And I'm glad that I bought them at that time. I don't like that 300 price point is nothing compared to what they are right now. And it was funny because him and we talked about it like a couple months ago.
Right.
And he was just saying, he was laughing like, yo, I can't believe you still have that pair. It's funny because I just had to rebuy them and I had to pay like $1,000 to just get that pair back. And I'm just like,
yeah. But you got them. You got them, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you got a history piece. Hey, I'm gonna have to wrap this meeting up because I know we only got 30 minutes. But I do want to say shout out to the Soul Truth. How does what are all your different extensions online? How can people find you?
So on IG, follow me on Instagram _somebody lied. That's spelled out. No weird characters.
I'm gonna edit this and I'll plug it too. So
yeah, that's cool. So follow me on Instagram _somebody lied.
Okay.
You could follow and you could subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's called The Soul Truth. Soul spelled SOLE. So The Soul Truth. Subscribe on there. There's going to be some new content on the way from 2021. New video will be coming out in shortly. Haven't started yet, but shortly new content is on.
Is it every Sunday or is it select Sundays?
So I try to do it. I try to at least post it at least every weekend. Kind of going off to a slow start because a couple things was going down along the way for me, but I'm going to be back up and running very, very shortly soon. So
and I'm in the same boat, so no stress on that, man. Life happens.
Of course. Yeah, so new content will be on the way shortly.
For sure.
On the way shortly. But yeah, follow me there, subscribe, and
But hey, man, this has been an awesome interview. Thanks so much, and peace out. Appreciate you.